Hello and welcome back to Shed Wars. I am going to try something that I've never seen anybody do before, but I'm fairly certain it will work due to what I've tried over this past year and due to Charles Dowding's experiments, which has become quite popular. I have seeds to set that are some for Shed Wars and some for my garden, but I'm putting it in Shed Wars because, like I said, some of the seeds are for Shed Wars. Over the past 2 years, I've come to find out that you could set beets say in a plug tray like this. Charles Dowding, he sets 2 or 3 seeds in each one, and then he sows them as bunches of beets. My plan is different. My plan is to take a 200 cell flat and put 1 seed in each cell, and when they get up and get their first true leaf, I'll plant them out at the recommended plant spacing. Now, it's not only beets, I'm going to do that with turnip as well. First, I have a full 5-gallon bucket here of those little thumb-size paper cups I've been making. When you're planting root crops, they say don't transplant root crops because you damage the root. They don't transplant well. Beets and turnip and rutabaga, that kind of crop, what you're harvesting is actually a swollen area of the crown of the root. You get several roots growing out. You do have that tap root, but that's not what you're harvesting. You're actually harvesting the swollen crown. Carrots, however, you are harvesting the full tap root. So you can't do the same thing with carrots as I suggested with the beets and turnip. If you damage that taproot when you transplant them, you'll never get a proper carrot, even if the plant does grow. So what I'm thinking is, if I plant them in these, and once again, once they get up with the first set of true leaves, plant them out in regular spacing, I have not disturbed that taproot at all. And I need to do that especially for Shed Wars, because we only have 60 seeds of 2 different varieties. 60 seeds of Denver's 126 and 60 seeds of the other one. Can't remember what the name of the other one is now. I have these 2 containers. It looks like it's a lasagna container initially. Something that you would get in one of your grocery stores with those food that's already ready to eat sort of thing. Just warm it up and go. They fit more than 60 in each, but not many. I think this one is 68 and this one is 64. So I'll put 60, fill up 60 of these for each one, and put 1 seed in each. The reason for doing this is because, like I said, we only have 60 seeds of each type of carrot. So we want to maximize the number of seeds that we actually, number of carrots that we actually get. If I were to just go out and direct sow them, then they would get sown too thickly and I would have to thin them out, resulting in quite a loss of quite a few carrot plants. This way we'll get a carrot from every seed that we can get to germinate. Now that I have 120 done for Shed Wars, I can put some in here. Jiffy, you know those instant greenhouse things they sell, and you have the peat pellets? Well, they changed their design. You see, there's a little slot for each peat pellet to go. Now, that actually makes it more rigid on the bottom. They decided they would go cheaper on the tops and made them smaller. You see, they're about a half an inch lower than the old version. However, the reason for that is when they fit in, when you put it in upside down here, they fit just down on that design. So if I take the top and I put it upside down like this, I got a fairly firm flat bottom here, which these will fit nicely all the way along. And I can put 210 of these in this tray. Not only that, then I can take one of the older humidity domes I got and then put over the top. Now, as I said, 210 fits in here. I add on my garden plan to do one bed of carrots, and in the plan that means 240 carrots. But I think I want to put some among the strawberries, because I got the initial strawberry plant and they're 1 foot spacing. And I'll put the carrots among them in that same bed. So I'm going to fill out 2 of these trays. So that's 2 trays of these done. And remember, I was talking about the design on the bottom. If I did this with the other trays with no design, they would fold right in. These have a sturdier bottom to them, which I was disappointed in the design when I first got these, but now doing this, I'm kind of happy that that design is there. I'm going to move these out now in the next room. And I can fill up my 200 cell trays. And now I can go out on my computer desk, sit down comfortably, and put seeds in these cells. Now let's start with our Shedwars carrots. You see here's Denver's 126. Got a few seeds of that one. And Scarlet Nantes. I have a few seeds of that one. So I'll take this big butter container here. I can't afford to lose any seeds. This way I can put them there, spread them out, and take one seed at a time and lay them in the little cups. I had more than 60, so some of the cups have 2 seeds in them. Carrots, the seed is very tiny, and it is a self-seeding plant. So the seed just barely under the surface of the soil is what you need. And rather than use that, it might be better to use something with a fine tip. Maybe even the lead of a pencil. Now to water them, that was Scarlet Nantes. I'm going to get some kind of a cover for these, just a clear plastic cover, and put over them, probably just shrink wrap, until they start to sprout. And now I'll do the same thing with the other ones, the other set, the Denver's 126. It took me 1 hour to fill up the cups in this tray. This will be 1 bed worth of carrots. To thin out the carrots of 1 bed would have taken way more than 1 hour. So I think this is a time saver if it works the way that I expect it to work, that is. And because I don't have to thin them out, I am much more likely to get well-formed and big carrots this way than doing it the other way and having carrots intertwined. These are carrot seeds that I harvested last year, carrots 2020. And as you can see, I have plenty. So I'm not doing it for to save seed for my carrots. What I'm doing it for is I hate thinning. That's the main reason. And as I said, I will save myself a lot of time. One of the nice things about saving your own seed, actually, see, I don't have them quite clean, and the extra stuff on the outside makes the seed a little bigger, so they're easier to handle, or should be. And you see, what I'll do is, as I said, when they're up and they got their first leaf, I'll transplant them out. But they won't be all up at once. As they get up to a good size, I'll transplant them, and then I can make another pot and replace that one in this tray if I want, and just keep going until I have enough carrots to fill out the bed. And if some of the seeds don't germinate, then I will stick another seed in with the one that's already there to see if I can get something to germinate in that cup. 2 weeks before our last frost. Technically, it'd be 15 days actually before I would plant them if I was planting them in the garden, direct sow. This way should give me a huge head start. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know of anybody who's ever done this, so this is a completely new experiment. And if it is a flop, I still have time to direct sow them up in June. Now with the carrots all planted, I really don't know what my initial type of rutabaga was, and I wanted to refresh my seed stock, so I bought 2 packs. See, this is the Swede Laurentian. It'll grow just fine here in Newfoundland, and I have 2 packs. I'm going to set out just 1 tray of these because rutabaga is a bigger vegetable, and you plant those 6 inches apart. It took a little bit to rutabaga and turnip seeds are easier to handle because they're bigger. So you see, you could almost, well, you could really spread these out and pick them up with your fingers. I'll find out now when I start whether or not it's easier to do it with my fingers. See, that's very easy. I can pick up a single seed at a time and just drop them in. Because, as I said earlier, the turnip and the beets, they have a more significant root system than carrots do, then there should be enough root to give me a good plug when I go to press it out of this tray. These trays I can just sit on the wicking mat put a humidity dome over them and wait. The trays with the carrot in, I'm going to have to be top watering them all the time to keep them wet, so there's no point of having them on the wicking mat. I can move them up to the sunroom right away. Now comes the time for the beets. I have an uncle that lives not too far from me that puts out his beets as transplants, so I know that will work here. That's actually where I first heard of it, and then I found Charles Dowding's online version. Now as for beets, they're so big that I could pick them up and just push them right down into the cells one at a time. But it still might be faster to just lay them all out. One seed per cell, and then push them in afterwards. Any that don't look that great, I'll just put off to the side. Remember, this is my own saved seed. Take the end of this marker now and push them down. Now, the nice thing about using a little spray nozzle like this is that when you really spray it on, you will level over the soil on top of those seeds. I've seen a lot of people, they put extra soil on top of the seed after they put it in. But just putting it in a depression, they're going to water it afterwards anyway. And just spraying a fine spray on it like this covers up the seeds. There, I'll bring you in and show you. See, the soil's all leveled off, covering the seeds. The beets and rutabaga will be left right here. I'll bring the other ones up to the sunroom and move the trees in the sunroom out to the greenhouse. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you did. And this is an experiment that I don't know if anybody else has done, so make sure you're subscribed and follow along, and we'll see how this turns out. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.